Hey guys, Jaybo785 here. Today we're going to be talking about part 3 of my stand-up comedy thing. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and get started. First thing off, this video is going to contain some adult situations. So if you're under the age of 18, do me a favor, just shut it off right now and move on. So now that none of you have left, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to be talking about, my family, my friends, just how life is constantly changing around me, where at times I still feel like I'm just a teenager or even a kid myself, and yet I see my friends and my family getting married, having kids, getting engaged, and just growing up around me. And it's kind of a wonderful and surreal type of thing of being able to see life change in front of my face. An instance of this was I was upstairs one day talking to my half-sister, and we were talking about something very, very serious. And I just heard my nephew, Evan, chatting in the background. And, I looked at him like, Evan, I'm talking to your mother. Give me just a second. Okay. And it just keeps going off. Blah, 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 blah. And so finally, I finished the conversation with my sister, and I turn around, and he's not even looking at me. He's just chatting. And he's on the Xbox and he's just playing away. And I noticed that he doesn't have a mic on. And so I kind of look back at my sister, and I look back at him. I'm like, Evan, who the hell are you talking to? No one. You're talking to yourself. Yeah. For the last 30 minutes, you've been talking to yourself. Uh-huh. About what? I don't know. What the hell would you even have to say for 30 fucking minutes? So I looked at him and I go, Evan, I'm getting you a volleyball. Poor damn kid was talking to himself for 30 fucking minutes. I'm like, I'm getting you a volleyball, boy. So, continue the story about my nephew, Evan. Well, she's about 10 now. His best friend is Calvin. So when they get together, they're like Calvin and Hobbes. They're fucking obnoxious for more than anything. But, they're funny, they're cute, and their honor is all get out. And my sister, being the type of, wonderful lady that she is, she adopts all the kids from our small little town. Her home is their home, pretty much. Which basically means that every time I'd walk upstairs, I'd see a new little boy and go, which one are you? Pretty much. And so, Calvin, oh god, this is an interesting kid, was upstairs one day playing Xbox with Evan, and it was summertime. And he has no shoes on, no socks on, and no shirt on. I walk up to him and he's like, hi, Jason. I'm like, hi, Calvin. And I notice that he has a scar that runs from the base of his neck all the way down to the base of his ribs, right there in the middle. And I go, what the hell happened to you? When I was born, I had a nickel-sized hole in my heart. Now, Calvin being the kid that he is, he wanted empathy. He wanted somebody to feel sorry for him so that he could probably weasel you out of a bottle of pop or a candy bar or something like that. I knew this too well. So I go, you got a nickel-sized hole in your heart? Uh-huh. Why were you eating nickels? I wasn't eating nickels. I was born with a nickel-sized hole in my heart. Stay away from my pocket change, you little weasel. That's not nice. If I gave you a quarter, would you shit 2 dimes on a nickel? No. And I'm just screwing with him like that. And so, like I said, they're good kids, love them to death, but God, can they wear the hair off a rhino's balls. And I came in one day to see my sister. She was at work, and she owns her own business, so Calvin and Evan were there, just annoying the ever-living hell out of her. And she has a really good tolerance for that kind of thing, and even if it was, she usually wouldn't let it show. And I could hear them outside when I'm walking into the damn store, and they're just like a pack of angry chihuahuas. And so I go up, I'm like, hey, Mandy, how you doing? She goes, get these children away from me. And I go, oh, I can do that. I just got done doing laundry, so I had big old jeans on with just nothing but pockets of jeans. And they come up to me and they're like, Jason, buy me a pop, Jason, buy me pop, buy me a candy bar, buy one ice cream, and I go, you guys want that? Yeah, we want that. You want that? Yeah, we want that. So I just reached in my hand, my pockets and pulled out a handful of change, open up the business's door and just toss the change out into the parking lot. I'm like, go get it! And they scattered like cockroaches. And I went up to my sister. I'm like, I'm the best babysitter ever. So, moving on, talking about poor Calvin. One day I came into the store, and Evan comes up to me, and he's got this giant Celtic cross across his arm. And it was done really, really well. And I'm like, holy shit, it's a 10-year-old with a tattoo. And he's like, you like it? I'm like, yeah, it's actually kind of cool. And he's like, I got it down at our Tulip Festival, which is this yearly little hometown parade thing that we have. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I look at Calvin, and Calvin is just sitting there in the chair just pouting. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? And Mandy is laughing her ass off. And she's like, Calvin got a tattoo too. I'm like, oh, really? What did you get, Calvin? I don't want to talk about it. Okay. So as I start to walk around the corner, I notice on the back of his neck, which, by the way, the boy was wearing a pink shirt, that he had a flaming unicorn on the back of his neck. And I just look at my sister with like this shocked look, and she's just giggling. I'm like, do we need to have a conversation with Calvin? And she's like, no, he's fine. He knows now. Oh, God. So, speaking of tattoos, I have no ink myself, but that doesn't mean that I can't respect people that do. I think if you have the money and the resources, and if you have your bills and your other priorities taken care of, and if you're willing to get something that actually means something very deep to you, and that other people can also probably understand, I say go for it. Express yourself in a manner that you seem appropriate and deem appropriate. But for the love of God, spend a lot of money on it and get it done right. The shit is permanent. So, I was talking to somebody once, and I'll see that they have sleeves, or they have somebody's name tattooed on them or whatnot, and I'm like, hey, tell me about your tattoo, that's really cool. And they'll give me a story. Sometimes it's just, I was drunk, which I hear more than anything. And they're like, you got any tattoos? I'm like, no, but I've been thinking about getting one. What are you going to get? Well, I was thinking about 1 or 2 tattoos. I'm either going to get the Swedish chefs from the Muppets, or I'm going to get the Ice Age squirrel. And they just look at me like I'm fucking crazy, and I'm like, look, I love to cook. I love Jim Henson. The Muppets are fucking awesome. The Swedish Chef is awesome. That's a good choice for me. And they kind of shake their head and acknowledge. I like the Ice Age squirrel. That little guy is my hero. He's got a plan, he's got a goal, he's got a mission, and nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, is going to stop him. And he keeps going even when he gets beat down. He's my hero. And they kind of look at me like I'm fucking crazy, and then usually slowly move away without making any sudden movements. Which is probably the appropriate action. So, that's one thing is, now that I'm single, I go into things looking at different objectives in a different way, just at people in a different light. Do you want to date somebody that has a lot of tattoos? Would that even mean anything to you? What about religious values and so on and so forth? And now that I'm single, I catch myself in the weirdest fucking situations. I was out at a strip club, and I went with my uncle and my father and my brother and his best friend. My dad and my uncle are not allowed to live in the same state. It is by law, because when they get together, they get fucking ornery, and they get dangerous stupid. So, as we're getting ready to go into this establishment, my uncle pulls out a hard hat, and on the side of it, it says Club Orland Shoe Shield. Now, he goes into this place of business, and he's up at the front row, paying his dollar. And these strippers, or dancers, are looking at him like a 3-eyed goldfish in a punch bowl. And if you've ever been to a strip club, do you have any idea the crazy, obscene, obnoxious shit you have to do to get a stripper's attention, and for them to look at you like you're fucking crazy? So, they start asking him, why are you wearing that hat? And the story goes like this. My stepsister, one of her best friends, used to actually work at Club Orleans. She was a dancer there. And they wanted to have a birthday party for her, but she couldn't get off of work. So what they did was they brought in a cake and a candle, and they went into the back room. They were lighting the candles for this girl. We're going to sing happy birthday and leave. Or at least that's what she tells her family. Now what happened was there was another dancer on the stage, and she was doing a little spinny thing on the pole, and she kicked her foot, and at the end of her foot she had a giant glass platform shoe with a stiletto heel. And that shoe went Hail Mary style across the room, cracked my sister in the head, and she had to get stitches. And thus, the Club Orland Shoe Shield was born. So, like I said, the dating world is different, and it's weird to me. I met my former girlfriend when I was still in high school, and we were together for a very long time. And as you've known from my other video, if you've watched part 2, I have some odd mannerisms about me, which can either attract or, more often not, appall the opposite sex. So, it's also one of those things where I can be very choosy. Not your typical guy that will hit anything that has pulse. And I actually found a gal that I really liked. And we were drinking, and we were chatting, we were having a good time, we were joking around. And I lean in to pour her a drink. And I'm fucking wasted at this point in time. And she goes, "Oh, Jason, you're getting me so wet." In a very sensual manner. I'm like, "Holy shit, really?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're fucking spilling water all over me." And I can laugh about it now, but it's like, oh shit, that was pretty embarrassing. And then, why the fuck did I even have this thing up here? Oh yeah, just, it's one of those things, to be in the dating world, you have to have money now. You have to go out, you have to do nice things, you have to be presentable, Unfortunately, it is one of those things that cost money often attract either end of both the sex, not just women, but also men too. Make yourself look beautiful, make yourself look presentable. And, it's one of those things, I decided that my point in life, I'm going to go back to school, and I'm going to get the education I need to get a good job. And my grandparents were nice enough that they actually provided me with some really beautiful furniture. And being single, well, the stuff went to crap in a handbasket pretty fast. Well, they decided they were getting too old and that they were going to move out of their own home. They were going to move into a hospice of sorts. And they wanted their furniture back. And I didn't want to give the shit up. So I started thinking of excuses to give them, like, sorry, they have the, how the hell do I want to say this? The carpal tunnel of love stains on it. I'm sure that you don't want it back right now. And, I got to thinking, like, what the hell would they do in that situation? Or, just all the different things going through my mind. And I started thinking about Mr. Clean and their swiper commercials and stuff like that. And obviously these commercials are usually directed towards just women. And I'm like, they need to have a man cleaning commercial from Mr. Clean. And it went something like this. If Swiffer really wants to target more of the male population for their products, rather than trying to use a masculine figure like Mr. Clean or a man in their commercials, they should be brutally honest. Need help getting those jizz stains off the ceiling, couch, and cat? New Swiffer Jiffer wipes on a stick can help you get those hard-to-reach places without risk of cross-contamination. So, what your next $1 million idea? There you go. That one's on the house. And, like I said, I continually see my family around me and my friends around me, their own dynamics constantly changing. Usually, I live quite a ways away. I live about 70 miles away from my hometown, which kind of sucks. But whenever I come back, I usually try to bring a gift of sorts to whoever I'm going to go visit. And, of course, my friends, their own personal families continue to grow. Either they get married, have a girlfriend, boyfriend, or they have a child. So, one of the things that I've started to do is I bring donuts. And my buddy James has affectionately deemed me the donut fairy. And so, moving on, it's one of those things, when I went to go see my sister at her place of business, I asked her, I'm like, how are you doing? How's the family? What's going on in your life? She's like, well, we got somebody that keeps shitting in the toilet and they don't flush. And she's trying to help me narrow it down. And they finally figured out who it was. And they got rid of him. She had to have a talk with him. And so, it ends up, as soon as she got rid of this guy, somebody else did it too, where they messed up the bathroom, they didn't clean it up. And I'm like, we got a copycat shitter on our hands, you know? Ah, shit. So, speaking about, families extending, I had my buddy James, the one that deemed me the donut fairy, and he recently had a daughter of his own with his wife Dana. Now, they ran into some issues that were particularly unique about them, in the sense that his wife is from Canada, and he's from here, from Kansas, and because of post 9/11 issues with the Patriarchs, to get her paperwork together and get it established and get her into the States permanently is damn near impossible unless you spend close to $10,000 to $20,000, which they don't have. And because she was pregnant and getting ready to have her baby, which she successfully did, they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay for this. Now, most of you probably know that Canada has a pretty good public health care system. But if she went back, she wouldn't be able to get back into the States. So my buddy James was discussing this serious issue with me, and me being the good friend that I was, I'm like, take her down to Mexico. I hate you. No, don't you want a beanie baby? Hate you so much. And I'm like, no, you could have your own little manifest destiny. You'd have the middle section, she'd have Canada, and then you got your donkey riding baby down there in the south, You could just... alcohol is very expensive up in Canada. That's one of the ways they pay for their healthcare system, is by using the sin tax. I'm like, you can have your little baby, import tequila, dirt cheap from fucking Mexico. You smuggle it across the States, and then she takes care of the export up in Canada. Hate you. Hate you so much. Alright, guys, so let's go ahead and get ready to end this video. Speaking of alcohol, tequila, all those other yummy treats, we decided to take my buddy Eric out for his 21st birthday. Now, Eric is a little bit of a homebody and had never drunk anything before his 21st birthday, and had definitely never been drunk before. So, we decided to tell him to listen to LMFAO's Shot song and to keep up with it. And, might have said the wrong artist on that, guys. Sorry about that. And so he tried, and he failed, but he did. It was a good sport. And so, like any good evening after drinking, we decided to not be complete asses and get him something to eat before he went to bed so that the tummy full of alcohol didn't brew on him in the middle of the night. And where's the best place to go if you're drunk and if you need food? It's open 24 hours a day, IHOP. Mainly because you can just point at the picture on the menu, grunt, and they'll bring it to you. So, this entire night, Eric, by the way, is the 21-year-old virgin that I'm sure that you all know somebody or knows somebody that has one. And we keep trying to get him to hit on women. And as we get more alcohol into him, eventually his morals and his consciousness starts to subside, and he starts to get that liquid courage going. And I mean, we're trying to get him to hit on anything. We even tried to get him to hit on the Walmart greeter gal, and you know how pretty she was. And so finally, we get him to IHOP, and he is just chattering, just drunk as shit. And, this poor waitress, you could tell she was just fucking angry at the world. Nice gal, just bad hand dealt to her. We're like, dude, you should hit on her. You should definitely hit on her. I don't know what to say. And so, he's going on chatting, and he starts ranting and raving about how he doesn't like his eyes because he has brown eyes, and how he wishes he had blue eyes because that's what alcohol does to you guys. And he's like, I hate my eyes. I don't like my brown eyes. I like blue eyes. And then he's like, points to his buddy David. He's like, David, you have brown eyes. Your eyes are shit. We all start laughing. He's like, Jason, you have very pretty eyes. Well, thank you, Eric. And so the waitress comes back by and she serves our drinks, and we're like, dude, you should hit on her. And he's like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, compliment her. Women like it when you compliment them generally on something like that. And he's like, I don't know what to say. I'm like you told me I had pretty eyes. Tell her that. Okay. So we're all just kind of leaning in and we're waiting for the climax. So she finally comes back, and Eric's like, Hey, what? He points to me. He has very pretty eyes. So guys, that concludes the third part of my comedy stand-up routine. I hope you've liked it. I hope you've laughed. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment in the comment section below if you have any questions or concerns. If you're a new player playing Rage of Bahamut, please use my referral code RUM26800. Or if you're a player that has an extra advice, please use my code. Thanks a lot, guys. This is Jaybo785 signing off.